The resort had been looking for a maintenance system for a while. From what I understand, it's a bit of a 3-year plus project.
This is Micah. We heard how Panorama Mountain Resort had been eager to modernize their maintenance system, but after some time, they were still in the same place that they had started.
Because I'd done this before, I got the task of go find a system.
And that's no easy task. So we traveled into the mountains of British Columbia to visit Micah in person and see how he has managed their goal.
Most of our maintenance was paper-based, if it was being recorded at all. And if it wasn't being recorded, it was in someone's head. I'll just grab some keys for this truck and we'll take this one. And I was researching for them a few products. And we tried the ski hill one and yeah, it was great. Just didn't quite do what we wanted to do though, because at this point we started to realise we don't just have to use this for lifts. Every vehicle operator is required to do a vehicle inspection before they operate the vehicle. And this, if we find an issue with this vehicle, we'll put it straight into Limble. So they're all supposed to check the oil and fluids every morning. And yeah, if they find a problem, our little app, we just say to our little inspection application that the vehicle's down, they put a comment in and say what the problem is. It loads a job almost straight away into Limble, and then they get an email. And the part we're just working on now is every little piece of information we put in, so in this case mileage, we'll also send a Limble, and then we're constantly tracking it.
That's great.
So we're at this time of the year now where they're going to be doing fleet replacement or replenishment. So now we're at the point now where they want reports and say, well, this is what we're going to be, this is what the state of our vehicles are, and they'll send lots of information to management and they'll decide whether they're going to replace them or not. It's very difficult to justify why you need to buy upgrades for an asset, or why you need to replace an asset without any numbers or any evidence to say, hey, look, this is actually costing you lots of money. Now we can track hours spent, so we don't fill timesheets out here, but Limble will tell us that you're spending X amount of hours on this asset trying to keep it moving, as well as parts and those kinds of costs. Becomes very easy to justify when your maintenance goes up.
After a quick truck inspection, we made our way down the hill where a technician was beginning pre-checks for the town lift.
So each lift will comprise of a visual inspection and some form of testing. So McKinley will be just starting that now. We had a Wi-Fi only tablet to start with, and then we went and bought tablets with SIM cards in them. It also meant that while we were doing maintenance online, that they could, if they wanted to, take the tablet online, take photos, do live updates. All of these things get checked daily, in some description. And these are all things that every year we're required to check, basically by law. So I built each one with the various steps that they'll be doing. So, of course, it doesn't say actually what they are, but this will be the drive station one, the return station one. One of them will be a line check, so they have to visually check the line before they turn the lift on, make sure there's no trees, anything like that. Okay, we'll do that. We'll also jump on this middle cabin. So this particular line check will listen to both sides of the towers. Let's say looking for any odd movement, listening for any odd noises coming out of the shiv assemblies. Yep, line checks, good, you're clear to load guests.
Now that early morning safety checks are complete, we make our way to their busiest lift for an in-depth look at their operations and inspection detail.
So yeah, every day is one of the daily inspections, which I can actually even show you. One of the checks will be to determine that the anti-collision system is functioning. Anti-collision and spacing control. It's the first thing they check when the lift is turned on, is that system functioning properly. And also things like, so this one, the second question is asked, are the values correct in the HMI, which stands for human machine interface. So certain values are programmed into the computer, for example, rope length, and also how many chairs are on the line as well. So we tell the computer there's 78 chairs, so the computer knows 78 chairs should be X space apart. So we check those values as well every day to make sure that the computer hasn't decided to change them overnight. Not that kind of thing happens, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Better safe than sorry, right.
So this is the grip shot. The lift that we just got off, this grip is obviously what attaches and detaches from the line. So this one's been dismantled for maintenance and inspection. A mechanic will be looking in here for things like wear grooves and whatnot. And these are the things that, like this particular maintenance is heavily regulated because it's got quite a big safety aspect to it. And so a record of inspection is super, super important. Technical safety BC are going to want to see this, and this is the one that's super, super critical they fill out. And the thing we liked about Limble was that they actually had to sign their name. So just because of the amount of safety that's around this particular inspection. So this form had a birth life of say, that's Yannick. This form had a life of from the paper, and yeah, now it's electronic.
That's awesome.
So this is Yannick. Yannick is lift mechanic.
Oh, it's pretty nice. Like, so see, like, you see all those numbers appearing, and like a day like today, it's my Monday, so I can come back for the past 3 days. Like, okay, like the person who was there, I can even know who was, who put the information.
You have the history.
Like, hey, guess what? You didn't do it right. You know? Like something happened there. So we can always go back to it. So I really like it for that for sure. And especially for our daily checks too, like we used to have like a paper sheet, right? And just putting a number into it, so it's big.
Here we go. Here's the form right here.
Yeah.
This is where it started.
This is where it all began. Yeah.
This is where it starts.
This is how I ended up with my job. Was actually writing this. That's what I was saying about the very extensive procedure that had to be written. But it was these forms here, that form there. Spent hours and hours building, but basically it was that then created basically what was going to become that maintenance, that form, and like they still would fill out a paper copy to start with, and then we would add it all in later. But yeah, this was basically where it all began.
Yeah. We had one last stop before calling it a day. And that was getting a look inside a lift itself.
I'll let you up first, and I'll come up behind you. All the PMs will have a completion block which I created, and so if we think there's anything else that needs to be resolved, if they say yes, I'll ask them who's the job going to, and what needs to be fixed.
So yeah, then like I can sit here because you do ride arounds on the chair, check all the towers, that kind of stuff.
I have 3 words for my vision for this, and that's one-stop shop. We want ideally everything to be in one place. We don't want to manage lots of apps on our devices. We don't want to manage lots of systems. We just want everything in the one place. If we give the job to Rich and say you've got to fix this, Rich is going to want to know who looked at what and what they actually found, so it's a very quick way of having all the information passed over, right?
Now without people, Limble's just software. But it's unsung heroes like Micah, McKinley, and Yannick that make sure facilities like Panorama have well-maintained vehicles, safe ski lifts, and a forward-thinking preventative maintenance program. It is through their efforts that we get to enjoy a safe and fun experience. We here at Limble recognize Micah and his team's efforts to manage a better Panorama Mountain and Ski Resort.